Ladies and gentlemen, I want to do an update on the four that got killed in Mexico. This story is just so tragic. Now, I know some people thought it was suspicious that they were even there. I really, to be honest with you, I really don't. And, there's more coming out. Apparently, that fight between the cartels was already in progress when they pulled up. Ladies and gentlemen, I was listening to some of the officials there in Mexico talk. They said that area that they went into is a heavy drug activities go on in that area. And it's not unusual for two different cartels to be fighting each other. And that's exactly what was going on. It was some Haitian drug traffickers and Mexican cartels fighting each other. And these folks just happened to come in the midst of it. But they said that area is really bad with drugs and violence and everything. So, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying to y'all in my other video. Make sure you know the area that you're going in, especially when you leave the country. So, there's a little more. All right. So, 2 Americans survived and 2 did not. And the 2 that didn't were actually brothers. It was just listening to this is so heartbreaking. It really is. This is so sad. So let's get into it. I got a couple of pictures that I'm going to show you. So these are the 4 that were all in an SUV together in Mexico. One of them was married, and his wife said she didn't even know he was in Mexico. He just said he was going away with a few friends and would be back. I'm like, okay, so much for that. So last Friday, 4 Americans driving a white minivan with North Carolina plates crossed into Matamoros in a Mexican state, and they went right over the border from Cameron County, Texas, into that part of Mexico. Shortly after crossing into Mexico, an unidentified gunman shot the passenger in the vehicle, according to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. The gunman herded the 4 American citizens into another vehicle, and then they fled. The kidnappers held the victims hostage for 3 days. And they said what they do is they move them around to different locations so that the police will have a hard time rescuing them. That's what the cartels do. So that's what they did to evade the police. They kept moving them from place to place over the past 3 days. So I'm going to show you a few more pictures. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, these are the 2 that survived. So on Monday, they were able to locate 2 survivors, Eric James Williams and Latavia Tay McGee. They were rescued. Eric was injured. Latavia, she was unharmed, but they were locked up in a shack. And I'm going to show you the shack that they were in when they were found. So they were rescued from a small wooden shack being guarded by a 24-year-old who was arrested. And he was the one that told them it was mistaken identity. And they didn't realize they were Americans until after they killed the 2 brothers. So, the gunmen hurted the 4 US citizens and they fled, and they were in a wooden house. So the 2 other individuals, which I'm gonna show. Okay, so these are the 2 that didn't make it, and this is so sad. Mm, mm, mm. So, it's not clear under what circumstances Brown and Woodard were killed. Woodard and McGee were cousins, and I mean, this is just look how young these folks are. This is so sad. All right, so Zendel Brown and Saheed Woodard were found dead when the authorities arrived in Mexico. And right now, they said they don't know what circumstances they were killed. I guess it was hard to tell from looking at their bodies. So Williams was shot in the leg and was flown to El Paso, Texas for treatment. McGee suffered no serious injuries. So they're saying that it didn't appear the 4 Americans were targeted. It was a misunderstanding, is what they're claiming, what the authorities are claiming. And I guess they are getting this from the one guy they were able to apprehend, and I'll show you him in a moment. So McGee, a mother of 5 from South Carolina, was in Mexico for cosmetic medical procedures. And, and I was watching a video a little earlier today, and it was saying last year, 1 million Americans went to Mexico for procedures. So this is a really common thing that happens, been going on forever because it's cheaper and people are always looking for, the same procedure in America, but cheaper. And it wouldn't be this way if America, like I said, didn't price gouge everything. They price gouge everything in this country. And that's the reason why you can go to another country and find things cheaper. And sometimes people just find it more affordable to do it that way. But yeah, they were saying 1 million Americans went for procedures in Mexico, and Americans spent $250 million in getting prescriptions filled in Mexico in 2022. So these things occur all the time. Absolutely. All right, y'all. So here is that little shack they were held in. And they were locked in this shack, and there was one of the cartels who was armed guarding it on the outside. And he was the one that got caught. I'll show you his picture last. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, whew. So they're saying one of the 6 Mexican states bear a do not travel warning from the US State Department because of the danger of kidnapping and other violent crimes. And I know, I was listening to one of the authorities that's in that area, and he said that that area is a tourist area for Americans looking to get cheap prescription medication. And he said a lot of Americans come across the border every single year getting prescriptions filled, and, because it's just so much cheaper. So he was saying in that area, Americans make over 1 million trips in that particular area where they were kidnapped in for cheaper medical care each year. And see, I know some of y'all will blame them. I blame America. America has done this, where you go in a hospital, you may have to pay $3,000 and you only stayed there for a night or two. Or if you get even, I remember the last time I was in the hospital, they gave me a Tylenol because I had a headache. The Tylenol was $30 for one Tylenol pill. One pill, okay? One pill. I mean, that is outrageous. And I think if things were better and there were, they bring down drug costs and everything, especially the medications that people need, there would be no one running across a border. So I'm going to also let me show you this last guy that was the one that was caught, and he pretty much spilled the beans on the mistaken identity and everything. Okay. So Jose Guadalupe N is the one that was guarding that red shack that they were in, and he was the only one out of the cartel that got caught. So I don't know how many because they really didn't get into details of how many, but there was, you know, a lot of violence going on between the Haitians and the Mexicans in that area at that particular time. And I mean, look, drugs is a big business. Billions and billions of dollars every single year are being made. And you may ask yourself, how come they never stop this? Because so much money is being made. This government really don't care about all these drugs coming in. And if you notice all the drug busts they do, it don't even put a dent in all of the drugs that are pouring in from the borders. I mean, drugs are pouring in here from Canada too. It's not just Mexico. And you got drugs coming in here from the islands. It's coming from everywhere. And they have never really gone above and beyond to stop it, because at the end of the day, whether it's legal money or illegal, it's still money being made. America's never going to stop drugs, just like America's never going to stop school shootings. America's never going to stop racism. You know why? Because anything that's a benefit, even if people die, as long as they're benefiting at the end of the day, they're not going to stop it. You're just another expendable person. They don't care. But, just let this be a lesson. You better know the areas that you are traveling to. Now, I don't know how well they knew about the drug activity that was going on there, any of the four that were going there. Now, and I also heard that she had another procedure done in Mexico prior to this incident. So she was going there for a tummy tuck. So this was going to be the second procedure she was getting done in Mexico. So she had it done at another time, according to her family, another procedure. And I guess she felt, that went well, so she was going to go back and get the tummy tuck done. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.